You've developed a lot of programming skills already, well done. However, programmers do make mistakes and things can go wrong. When this happens, it's important we know how to find the mistake and fix it. We call this debugging. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to debug a simple program. Let's start by looking at some code. Here we have a dancing game with 3 sprites that are programmed to dance on the screen. As you can see though, the cat sprite doesn't appear to be doing anything. Why is he not dancing? Let's have a look at the code we have added to the cat sprite. As you can see, we have quite a complicated programming block with lots of actions taking place one after the other. It's very difficult to tell what is going wrong here, so we need to break the problem up into simple steps and test these one at a time. We call this unit testing. The first thing we can do is to test just this block of code. To do this, rather than clicking on the program start flag, we will click on the event trigger block at the top of the block of code. This will run just this sequence of actions. As you can see, it looks like nothing is happening, so we clearly have a problem with this code. To work out exactly where the problem is, we will test one block of code at a time. When the problem appears, we know we have found the block of code that is causing the problem. To start with, we're going to have to separate the action blocks from the trigger block. To do this, we click and drag on the first action block and drop it in some empty space. We will now separate all the blocks from each other so we can add one at a time. Again, to do this, we simply drag and drop them into some empty space. It's important we still keep them in order though, so we don't get in a muddle. Now we've broken our task down, we can add one block of code at a time, testing our program with every change. Let's add the first programming block, then test it. As you can see, the sprite is turning as we would expect, so there's no problem here. Let's now add the next block of code and test it again. As you can see, the sprite is turning and its costume is changing, which is what we'd expect. Now let's add the next block of code and test it again. As you can see, part of our problem has occurred, as the cat is no longer turning. We know therefore that the problem lies with the turn programming block. Let's take a closer look to work out why. The first block of code should tell the cat to turn right. We tested this and we know it works. The second block of code should tell the cat to change costume. Again, when we tested this, everything worked. The third block of code should tell the cat to turn left. This is where the problem occurred. After giving it a little thought, we can work out that the turn left command is cancelling out the turn right command. Imagine you turn right, then immediately turn left. You'd be back where you started, as if you'd never turned at all, and this is exactly what is happening here. So once we've found the problem, we now need to work out how best to fix it. I have a couple of options. The first would be to remove the turn left command altogether. The second would be to make the turn left command happen after a short pause. I'm going to do this. To make an action wait, we will use the wait block from the control menu. Let's drag and drop this into place, putting it before the turn left action. Now when we run our code, our sprite should turn right and immediately change costume, then wait 1 second before turning left. Let's test that to see if the problem is fixed. Perfect. We should now add the rest of our programming blocks, testing each one as we go, looking for any further errors. It looks like everything is fixed now, so we've completed our debugging and fixed a broken program. As you can see, knowing how to debug a program is really important as it helps us find and fix problems. And as our programs become even more complicated, this is going to be an even more important skill to have.